Okay, good evening, everybody. We are going to call the meeting to order. We will rise for a moment of silence and a salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, once again, we want to welcome you all this evening to the board meeting. I do want to mention that this evening the board held an executive session prior to this meeting over in the Administrative Center to discuss legal and personnel issues. Now we will be moving on to, we have student performance this evening, and that is with respect to the high school orchestra who will be performing this evening, so take it away.
Hello. We would like to thank the North Hills School Board and Administration for inviting us to be here tonight. My name is Noelle Miklo, and I play the violin. On behalf of Mr. Valentine and Mr. Lavelle, who are at marching band practice right now, it is an honor to be with you. With me today are the members of our high school orchestra, which means ninth period every day. Playing violin are Amber Karakis, Emma Kraft, Lexi Mandel, Anton Sarazin, and myself. On viola are Michelle Doe and Emmy Cunningham. On cello we have Liam Kraft and Olivia Burek, and on bass we have Abra. We will perform for you the first movement of Richard Stevens' Fanfare and Frippery, the Fanfare. This is one of the pieces we have been studying this year. We hope that you will join us at our winter concert when we will perform the entire work. Thank you again for inviting us, and thank you for your work at North Hills.
Any more? Okay. Thank you. That was great. No, that was great. Superb. Thank you so much. Such talent. Very good. Thank you. That's the way to start off a meeting.
Yeah, I'm telling you.
Hey, that's great. Okay.
Put off the formal business and just
That's right.
let them keep going.
Let's have them back next time, too. Okay, we are going to move on to board member comments, and before anybody does have any comments, I just want to announce that the next meeting of the North Hills Board of Education will be held on Thursday, October 6th at 7 p.m. at the A.W. Beatty Career Center Multipurpose Room. So just a notice to the public. And I'm sorry, I do. I skipped over public recognition, but I do want to mention it. We'll move up now to public recognition. And I am going to ask Mrs. Beth Williams, our high school principal, to introduce the AP Scholars and the AP Scholars with Honor.
Thank you.
Sorry, Beth.
No, not a problem. North Hills High School is proud to offer 28 of the 34 available advanced placement courses across the United States. Our AP program is nationally recognized. It is combined of a rigorous curriculum sponsored by the College Board. The program provides an opportunity for high school students to choose college-level courses and receive undergraduate college credits or advanced standing if their AP exam scores qualify. 35 students this year qualified for the AP Scholar Award by completing 3 or more AP exams with scores of 3 or higher. Tonight's AP Scholars that were able to join us with their busy schedules include the following. First is Anastasia July.
No, we're good.
Come on up, Anastasia. Okay, next is going to be Caitlin Kurz. Caitlin is clearly at home studying, so she is not joining us tonight. Next is going to be Jamie Lay. You won? Good. Okay. Next is going to be Alina Molinaro. Anton Sarazin. Martin Varies. And last is Brian Venturella. And again, these are AP Scholar Award recipients.
Tell your grandma I said hi. Congratulations.
I think you still have the floor.
I do, a few more.
Congratulations.
Wow, thank you.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Congratulations.
Excellent work.
12 students qualified for the AP Scholar with Honor Award by earning an average score of at least 3.25 on all AP exams taken and scores of 3 or higher on 4 or more of the exams. Please join me in congratulating the following students. Maddie Evans. Christopher Manko. And last but not least, Kyle Schwartzbaugh. And again, if we could please give these fine ladies and gentlemen a round of applause.
Congratulations. Good job. Well remembered. Congratulations.
And finally, I would like to recognize North Hills High School School Counselor and Dean of Academic Affairs, Dr. David Barkovich. Dr. Barkovich serves also as the president of Allegheny County School Counselors Association. This professional organization is dedicated to sharing common interests and needs relevant to the primary task of serving our students. As a result of his leadership, Dr. Barkovich was recently recognized by Allegheny County Council. His recognition includes the following: for outstanding dedication to eliminating barriers impeding students' development, for creating professional development opportunities for countless school counselors, and for his exceptional advocacy for the school counseling profession on the local, state, and national levels. It gives me great pride to introduce and congratulate Dr. Barkovich.
I greatly appreciate the recognition. After, when I was before county council, after I thank my wife and I thank my daughter, who is in the North Hills class of 2027, she said on the way in, she said, "Dr. Manarino, I always see him at my school." So, after that, I thank the North Hills School District because it is because of the your support that I'm able to represent our school and school district on these different levels, and I'm glad to be a representative in that way of this wonderful school district. So thank you very much for the recognition.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Doc.
We're lucky to have you. Congratulations. Good job, superhero.
Great job. Great job.
Congratulations. Something for the daughter.
Probably couldn't get one of them anywhere else.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Something we said? I guess so. Alrighty, now we can move on to board member comments, and I'm going to just announce this one more time, that the board meeting of Thursday, October 6th will take place at 7 p.m. at the A.W. Beatty Career School Center Multipurpose Room, and not here. That's October 6th, Thursday at 7 p.m. Are there any other comments on behalf of, or from the board members?
I'll just say something quick. A few of us from the board were fortunate enough to attend the Hall of Fame dinner the other evening at Rico's. Turned out very nice. All 5 inductees were there. And I would like to thank Shelley Zimmerman for overseeing this along with Amy Schneeman. It was a very nice job. Well done. Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Do we have anybody that signed up, Lori, for public comments on the agenda items? I'm sorry, I probably should have jumped ahead. Or is there anybody that wants, not on the agenda item? Okay, that's fine. Okay, thank you. And we could move on to the approval of the minutes of August 11th. We need a motion that the board approve, or I'll make a motion that the board approve the minutes of August 11th, 2016 legislative meeting.
Second.
Is there any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll move on to the solicitor's report if there is anything for this evening.
Nothing for the public
Okay.
meeting, no.
Thank you. Student representatives reports, ladies.
This weekend, North Hills soccer team held their annual Soccer Fest tournament at Monterelli Stadium. North Hills hosted Baldwin, North Catholic, and Knock. The middle school, junior varsity, and varsity teams swept the competition, going 6-0 in the tournament. Last Friday, North Hills football faced a tough loss against West Allegheny 24-16 at Monterelli. North Hills led the game all the way up until the fourth quarter. Nick Santucci and Tyler Brennan both had touchdowns. This loss now makes the football team's record 1-2. They previously beat Shaler and lost to Upper St. Clair. Their next game is Friday at Monterelli versus Fox Chapel. The varsity golf team had their first win of the season versus Northgate. Johnny Stuckert led the way with a 37 par, followed by his brother Jacob, who shot a 40. Nick Smith, Andrew Pulaskis, and Tom Brown shot 42, 45, and 48. The team beat Northgate by a score of 212 to 227.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. All right, we can move on to education. There are no items under education, so we could go on to athletics and activities. Mr. Muha, it doesn't look like we have anything that you want to, or if there's
No.
anything you have.
No
Okay.
items tonight.
Thank you. Under Beatty Career Center, it appears we don't have anything on the agenda unless you have anything that you want to,
Mr. I'm not going to be able to attend the meeting next week, so.
next, what day
Next
is it?
Thursday.
Next Thursday, okay. So if anybody would like to attend the Beatty meeting next Thursday, will you, well, you won't be able to either, will you?
I will
He's
be
going.
there.
Okay, okay.
So we'll
Okay, so,
contact Arlene.
okay, that'd be fine. Thank you. We will move on to personnel. I'm sorry, that's Dr. Kelly? Dr. Kelly.
I will take that
Mr. Kelly.
promotion, thank you very much. Personnel items are discussed in executive session, and therefore the superintendent recommends, and I so move, that the board approve personnel items 1 through 9.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on the personnel items? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We can now move on to the community intergovernmental relations. That would be Mr. Yeomans.
I have one new, it's not a voting matter, it's an informational matter to discuss the establishment of a public advisory committee for enrollment, a public enrollment planning committee. As everybody's aware, we have the nice problem now of being a growing school district once again. And with that comes some of the issues that we dealt with over the past year of how to balance our enrollment particularly across our elementary buildings. We got an update from Dr. Manarino the last time we met about our enrollment, and there was one very surprising number that jumped out at all of us with the number of kindergarten sections that we have at McIntyre Elementary. So it was the thought that we try to stay ahead of the enrollment issue by forming a committee that includes members of the public, similar to the Public Budget Committee that Mr. Hall has been running since time immemorial, to get input from the community and to really examine thoroughly enrollment trends, other trends that could affect enrollment moving forward, be that housing turnover. We've already gotten some informal data regarding housing listings in our district that continue to show heavy activity in the Ross and particularly the McIntyre attendance areas. We're also facing, if people have been keeping up on the news, some potential changes in the parochial school environment in the North Hills that could have an impact on our enrollment moving forward. So given all that, it's our recommendation to establish this public enrollment advisory committee and begin advertising to the community for people who would want to be involved with that, and then establish an initial meeting sometime probably the later part of October or the early part of November. So I don't, if anybody else would want to weigh in on that.
Yeah, I think we mentioned this last meeting, Mike, or 2 meetings ago, that we do want to be transparent about this process. This is not something that's urgent. We're actually taking the bull by the horns, perhaps a few years down the road in advance, to begin to look at our enrollment on an annual, if not a semi-annual basis, and see where some spots might be that would perhaps cause us a problem over the next few years, not this year or next year, obviously, but after that. So we're trying to get an early start to that, and I think it's a great idea. And Mike, as the committee chair, will be heading this up, and we will be asking the public if anybody would like to join. And of course, those meetings are open to the public, even if you don't want to be a part of the committee, and any board member that would like to be involved, please let Mike know that, and we're certainly, those meetings will be separate and distinct from the board meetings. However, reports will come back to the board after each meeting. So I think it's a great idea, and I think it's something that will give the public an opportunity to see just exactly where we are with, and how we sort of plan these things out in advance. So thank you for that, Michael.
I think it's wise starting it early, Mike, than waiting. Because there's so many, you have to dig so deep and you need so many figures and a lot of research. So thank you for putting this forward now. I'm in.
Wonderful. Hopefully, everybody can participate at some point in one of the meetings. Again, and so an announcement will go out sometime, but probably next week, Amanda. So the public will be informed, and they can begin, those who are interested in being a formal member of the committee can express that interest.
Right.
And then,
It would be nice to have a representative, at least from each of the schools, even the middle school and the senior high. And
Sure.
The elementaries, because there's a lot of factors and a lot of ways we could look at this.
Well, we get a good attendance, at least lately, on the Public Budget Committee, so hopefully there'll be at least as much interest in this issue as well.
The one redistricting, the last big one, when I was on that, Dr. Goodnack oversaw it, you can't believe. I mean, it was, the room was packed with people, and they came. There were a few that missed a few months, but they were basically there. So I think you'll get the people.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Okay, so we have two
There I go.
other items for actual voting tonight. One is a recent development that if we have any questions, Amanda can fill us in on, but it's a contract with a company called Peach Jar for an e-flyer management system that essentially will standardize and streamline the process of getting flyers out to families from outside organizations that want to reach our children via flyers. And currently, the way it's done now is, Joe, or anybody else who's had kids come through the system, you get a million different flyers of every shape, size, and color that come home to you. This is going to make this process electronic and much more streamlined and easy to manage from the district's perspective, from the building's perspective. At least that's the hope.
Yep.
I just have a few questions. Sure. We have a $600 startup fee.
Yes.
And apparently, we do not pay an annual fee after that?
No, the company makes their money by charging the outside vendors. So there's no cost to the school districts that implement it.
Okay, now an outside vendor, such as like all our booster groups,
Those
our
would not be
sports,
parent groups.
they're
and-
all
yep,
included.
Those would
that
all
they-
be free.
They'd be
It-
free.
this-
Are they limited as to how many times they can use it a month?
No, they're not, no.
No, so it can be for if they're having an activity going on to send it out?
Yep.
Okay, now the vendors that are not recognized by the school district, I'm just assuming like North Hills Youth Football,
Stuff like that.
baseball, Berkeley Hills Baseball.
Sweetwater Center for the Arts, there's a lot of nonprofits, like Habitat for Humanity, Kids Triathlon. We go through hundreds of flyers.
Will they then pay?
They will pay. But most people that I've spoken to have stated that the cost that we would be charging is less or equal to the amount they already paid to copy
Oh, right.
and bundle and deliver.
Right.
And we've had people in recent years asking, is there a way we can do this digitally?
Now, will they be notified?
They'll be notified. Once you guys approve this, the process will start, and I have a conference call and everything with the people to get it going.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Amanda, I was curious, are most of the flyers done in an electronic format to begin with, or are we going to have, or will
No,
someone?
they're all sent to me in electronic format to be approved.
Okay, so
in our-
nothing needs to be scanned and then electronically
No,
sent?
anybody who sends anything to me, I ask that you send it, because what happens is they come to me, I approve them or don't approve, send to Lori, she informs the building level staff.
No, I'm just thinking of the format, because sometimes when you scan things and then
Oh, yeah,
electronically send
it would
it's
come in
a
PDF.
little ugly.
Yeah,
Good enough, thank you.
sure.
Any other questions? The superintendent recommends, and I so move that we approve intergovernmental relations item 2.
Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, so we have one more item, and that's the election of PSBA candidates. Hopefully, you've all had the chance to look over the candidates for the offices of president, vice president, and trustee for PSBA. I would now move that the board cast their ballot for PSBA officers.
Second.
Is there any discussion?
Well, excuse, shouldn't you announce the names of each
Sure.
individual?
It's Michael
Okay.
Facinetto for the office of President-elect, David Hutchinson, Vice President, William Lecoff, Trustee, Kathy Swope, Trustee, Mark B. Miller, Trustee, Marianne Neal, Trustee, and Michael Facinetto also for Trustee.
I'm sure our constituents were really glad to hear about this. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Dr. Nolish is not here. Does anybody care to take finance, or I'll be glad to take it if nobody wants to? Okay, short straw. All right, there are several items under the finance agenda this evening. We first have a presentation. David, I don't know if you want to introduce, but this is, I hope I say this right, Nick, is it Falgione? Falgione from PNC Capital Markets on our potential bond refinancing. Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you just grab the microphone? Okay, thanks. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, and thank you. My name's Nick Falgione from PNC Capital Markets, as we just mentioned. As you know, interest rates are low right now, and there's an opportunity for the school district. And I'll run through this fairly briskly, but if you have questions, please let me know, and I'll address them in full. But as I said, interest rates are low right now. It's continuing to be a very good bond market for issuers like the school district to refinance their debt. So what we have is an opportunity right now that we've been following for a while. It's reaching the right dates to actually execute it, where the district can save about $3.8 million from refinancing basically three obligations. It would be a current refunding of your 2006 bonds, which are callable in November, your advance refunding of the 2008 bonds, and then the redemption of a 2012 note that actually PNC holds right now that's associated with your swap. So the swap will actually be terminated as well. So we would have a $3.8 million present valued savings after costs, and it gets rid of another piece of your swap exposure. The transaction right now is about $32 million. The interest rate right now through maturity would be 1.75%. So again, we're seeing very low interest rates that are generating a benefit. The good news is your bond rating is a AA minus. That's a very strong bond rating for school district in Western Pennsylvania. It was just affirmed yesterday, so that's yesterday's news on that. And with your affirmation, our plan is to sell bonds on October 9th, come to your board meeting at the Beatty Center and present final numbers. But this is where the market would be right now if we sold bonds today. On October 9th, everything locked in if you approve the bond issue, and we close on, October 6th, and we close on November 9th. On page 2, this is your outstanding debt. This is all the debt of the school district currently. It actually is updated for the Beatty refunding that just happened a few months ago. But in the yellow, it shows the bond issues that we'll be refinancing. And they generally have rates ranging from 4.25% to just under 6% for total cost of funds. So those are the bonds, under 5%. And these are the bonds that we'd be looking at to refinance. Page 3 shows the new issue sizing. We're selling the issue in two series. The reason for that is the Series A is to refinance bonds with your swap. That issue is not reimbursable by the state. Series B bonds are for your 06 bonds and your 08 bonds. They're reimbursable. So we're trying to keep those two things separate designations. The one thing you'll see under the Series A is the school district is contributing about $2 million to terminate the swap. That's coming from your debt service fund, and that's being used instead of issuing taxable bonds. So it saves you some money on that. Bottom line on the right-hand side, you can see the par amount of bonds is a bit over $32 million. Right now, they're being couponed to generate another $5.8 million, so that closing will have $37.8 million of bond proceeds. The couponing is a function of the market, but really what it means is you're basically getting $5.8 million of bond proceeds without paying an underwriter's discount, so there's savings in that as well. The uses is basically all the money is being used to redeem prior debt. We're setting up escrows, we're calling the 06, 08, and 12 notes. We have the swap being terminated, and then we have issuance costs estimated below. The one thing that's firm right now is PNC's underwriter's discount proposal is $3 a bond. That is the lowest the district's ever had as an underwriter's discount.
Nick, where do you have, is that something you just, is it on the paper? I didn't notice it, the $3.
I'm sorry?
Is it on here on the document?
Yes, right where it says underwriter's discount, if you look
Okay.
to the right, it
Oh,
says 0.3%. I was
0.3,
using
okay.
shorthand, I'm sorry.
That's
It's
fine.
0.3% of the par amount of the bonds. That's $3 per thousand.
Okay, thank you.
So if we go to page 4, this brings it all together. So we have a bit of $3.8 million in net present value savings. And when we look at refunding, it's because you can't refund debt every day. There's restrictions to how often you can do it. The one thing we look at is how much are we saving versus how much are we refunding. So we're refunding almost $36.5 million of old bonds. It's generating 10.5% savings. Normally, if you can generate 3%, that's something you should consider. So we're almost 3.5 times that right now. I'm going to run through the chart on the right real quick because it's important to understand how the savings are being realized. So outstanding net debt service, this is the local share of debt service that the school district pays after the state reimburses you. So it's about $6.5 million a year until 2028, and then it tails off. We show the bonds being refunded in the next column, refunded net debt service. Then we show the new debt, the Series 2016 bonds. That's both series after reimbursement. We total that all back up, and then we compare it. So the outstanding debt service versus the proposed is the difference is the savings. You'll see in the first 8 years, it's just marginally positive. We're just keeping right above positive. We're taking almost all the savings to shorten your debt up. So this bond issue is specifically designed to shorten how fast you pay back your debt and to put those savings out there for to pay off the debt quicker. So over the time, it's about $6.1 million of gross savings. When you present value that all back and taking into consideration the time value of money, it's about $3.8 million. So this was the plan of finance that was constructed, again, with the notion of paying off the debt as quickly as we could.
So if we did this in 2017, we're looking at basically $2,300 in savings. Is that?
$2,300.
Okay.
That was the construct that was.
Gotcha. That's because we're shortening our maturity.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We're shortening. We're paying off the debt faster, so that in future years the debt service comes off sooner.
How far are we? Shortening. How many years are we taking off, Dave? I'm sorry. Is that on here?
We're shortening up the last 6 years of the debt. We're not eliminating any years.
Okay.
That's because we have our last swap is related to some bonds, and you have to keep some debt out for the entire life of that swap. So we have to keep some debt out for those latter years. So we didn't take any savings on the front end, and then we took as much as we could on
the
each
back.
of the bottom or latter
Right.
years.
So our real savings don't begin till like 2025. Not that
Correct.
we're losing anything, it's just the real savings, that's when it starts.
That's correct.
Right.
That's what I see, 9 years we'll be saving almost $1 million a year on debt.
And hopefully at that time, the district will take the money and put it aside into a capital fund. Because the intent here is to get the district out of debt by the time your next major building projects start
Right,
up.
right, because that's,
And that's about 30
That's the
years or
cycle,
so
yeah.
after Westview and the middle school were renovated.
it'll be here before you know it.
Just for
I'm sorry, Nick, go ahead.
Just for the sake of scope, the next opportunity to refinance the debt will probably be sometime in 2019 or 20 with the district's Build America bonds. So there'll be a position point somewhere in a couple more years where if there's another opportunity, you could either shorten it again within the confines of that other swap, or start to bring the debt service down in those years as well.
Looks good to me.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Taking out all, the big savings at the end instead of at the beginning or more uniform? What was the reasoning that went behind that?
The notion that we understood was the district's next capital program will start to be under consideration sometime in, I guess, 24, 25. The idea was to position the school district so as much of your debt service could be off the books by that time, so that that building program, if it happens, could be funded either through accumulating cash or from less borrowing.
Although it all depends on rates.
It does, yes.
Well, this is the structure we discussed in April when we gave them the authorization to proceed with looking at it.
Yeah, okay. Okay. Anything else?
That's all I had. Again,
Thank
if you had
you.
other questions.
Thank you.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, the very
And
last page is just
and
a
we may have you
timetable.
come back, if you don't mind, as we get closer, just to go over this one more time. I'm not saying we will, but we might.
I'm sorry?
I said we may have you come back one more time if we have to, just to,
Sure.
you know, if
And
necessary.
they are scheduled to come back to the next meeting, which is the 6th,
Okay,
because that's when we're going to actually do the bond sale.
vote on it. Okay, I got you, all right. So if anybody has any questions or thoughts about what's been passed out, you probably need to find those answers to those questions prior to the 6th. Or at least, thank you, Nick.
My contact information's in here, or if you want to filter it through Dave, that's fine.
It's here on page 2.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. Okay, we can now move on. There are items, item number 2 is the general fund bills. Item 3 is the capital project fund bills. Item 4 is the budget transfers. Item 5 is the payroll for the month of August 2016. 6 is a bid award for copy paper and dual purpose. And there's number 7, a new item, which is our replenishment of petty cash. And also the treasurer's report for, does anybody have any questions on either one of or any one of those items? Okay, so I will make a motion to approve items 2 through 8 on the finance agenda.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Kathy, I apologize. I know that I skipped over policy, and I know there wasn't anything on there, but if you sure? Okay.
Nothing to
Thank you.
report.
I'm sorry about that. Okay, support services, D, is there anything we have there that we need to discuss? Any thoughts?
nothing.
Okay, thank you. We now can move on to additional public comments. Is there anybody that wants to address the board? Okay. There being none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned. Thank you.